Hello everyone, welcome to our week 2 educational series webinar. We have such a great product we're going to talk about tonight. We're very excited and we'll be starting shortly, so stay with us. Thank you for your patience. For those of you who just joined us today, welcome to our week 2 product knowledge webinar. Just before we get started, a quick note, the webinar will be recorded today and it will be available on demand tomorrow. So let's get this show on the road. I would like to introduce our host for this evening, Immunotec's President of North America and Europe, Meredith Burkich. Hi Meredith, are you there?
I am. Hello, and thank you so much for joining us, everyone. Immunotec family, what a glorious 2019 that we have started off. We are just so excited here at Immunotec. And of course, after great popular demand from last year, everybody has said, please continue the educational webinars into this year. So here we are. And this, of course, week 2, always focusing on product. Expanding your knowledge is still the #1 most listened to and most shared of all of the broadcasts. And so as you take a look, we also offer you other ways to learn and sharpen the saw, as they say. But we want to go ahead and get this started as we learn about our product of the month with our very own in-house celebrity, Dr. Jimmy Gutman. And so we're going to be talking to him today. He is, if you have not gotten a chance to meet him yet, he is a former professor at McGill University Medical School. His specialty was actually emergency medicine, and he's now practicing family medicine to some very special people, but mostly he is spending his time here with us at Immunotec, putting all of the learnings that he's had over the years, all of his exhaustive experience. And then when it comes to glutathione, of course, what we talk about, all the lives that have been changed by that product. He is actually the world's leading authors on the subject. And actually, Dr. Gutman has sold more books on the topic than any other author combined. So anytime that we have a chance to snuggle up and kind of sit at his feet and learn from him, we enjoy our time together. So Dr. Gutman, are you with us today?
Yes, I am.
Outstanding. All right. Well, welcome. This is going to be a fun time. We've got a very interesting topic today, and I think that this is exceptionally an appropriate month. This is February, of course. Sweethearts Day is this month, and we're talking about the men in our lives. And I believe that we're going to be talking about a men's product today.
Yeah, but I think we're going to have a little twist on that.
Okay. Well, I love surprises. Well, no, not really, but coming from you, I'll take it. Let's get straight into it.
Sure, let's do it. So as you already mentioned, we're going to be talking about Magistral. And you see we have the subtext there, prostate health. Now, typically, you'll also see this for men only. But, here's a surprise we're talking about. When you get into the research about the components and what they all do, you'll see that maybe it's not just men that are going to feel the benefits of this product. Well, let's get back to some basics. Here we see the male anatomy, the cross-section. And you'll see that little walnut-sized thing at the base of the bladder. That's the man's prostate. Now, the formal indications for the Magistral is for the use in prostatic hypertrophy. That's just another word for enlarged prostate. Now, please keep in mind that we are not talking about prostate cancer. We're talking about an enlarged prostate. So there are secondary benefits that you're also going to find out about if you start doing your homework, and that might include things like erectile dysfunction and cleansing of the urine and others. But please remember, these other indications don't show up on our claims or on our packaging. These are secondary theoretical benefits based on the current literature. So how does this work? You'll see that prostate on the left there is a gland that surrounds the urethra. The urethra is that little tube that drains the bladder. And you see, again, on the left, how the urine needs to pass through that little hole before it gets eliminated. Now, when you look at the slide on the right, you see what happens when that prostate gets larger. Not only does it get larger outwards, it gets larger inwards, and that squeezes down the tube and tightens it up so the urine does not flow easily through it. And that's where all the problems begin. Now, here's the issue. As we get older, the prostate gets bigger and bigger. Now, here's some numbers that are really easy to remember. Medical students love these numbers because they're really easy to remember for their exams. 40% of 40-year-olds, 40, will have some signs of prostatic hypertrophy. Numbers stay just as easy. 50% of 50-year-olds will have some signs of prostatic hypertrophy. And believe it or not, 80% of 80-year-olds will have some evidence of a prostate problem. Now, at this rate, you can consider an enlarged prostate almost as a normal part of the aging process. So what are these guys feeling? Well, here's a whole list of potential symptoms that you can look out for. And many men aren't even aware that these symptoms are potentially a big problem. So if you have any of these, or you see your husband or boyfriend has any of these, you got to go see a doctor. Because unfortunately, understand this, the same symptoms of an enlarged prostate are also the same symptoms of prostate cancer. And we need to differentiate between the two. Number one, and no pun intended, having to go more often, I mean really having to go. That's the first sign. Number two, frequent visits to the bathroom in the middle of the night or on the golf course. Number three, men can't just stand 2 feet away from the bowl like you used to as a kid and actually reach it. The stream is much weaker. But there's more. You might feel like you still have to pee even after you've finished. It might hurt when you're peeing. You may be able to perform as well in bed, or you may not be able to perform as well in bed. You see, I told you it's not just for men. And finally, even worse, you can have politely what we call accidents. This is not fun. So to the rescue, Magistral. Now, Magistral has 5 different components. Most natural prostate formulas have only one, the Saw Palmetto. But we also have ginkgo and ginseng, damiana, and mura. Let's look at some of these. The damiana, this is a natural herb used in traditional medicine for sexual vitality. But again, we're not going to overtly advertise Magistral for that. It also has antibacterial properties, which certainly comes into play with men with a prostate hypertrophy. And damiana, although traditional medicines are interesting, y'all know me by now. Whenever we bring something up, there has to be research behind the product. So it's more than just traditional medicine. You have to look at the research. And when you look up the research on damiana, you'll find on PubMed, I welcome you all to go to pubmed.gov for any good research articles without the hype, without the marketing. You'll find over 150 studies on this. Remind you, these are human studies I'm talking about, not just studies. Ginkgo, there's one that you all heard about, many applications, including male issues, and some even for female issues. Ginkgo, I need to mention that there are many benefits for ginkgo, but there are some what we call relative contraindications. Okay, so you always have to check with any product, whether it's ours or another company. You need to check with your pharmacist or with your health professional whether these are going to cause an issue for you. Now, the ginkgo, again, look at the research. Geez, almost 2,000 articles on humans, not just studies. I'm just talking about human studies now. Ginseng, again, very well recognized, and application studies for both men and women. Now, look at that root on the right, and it's pretty cool looking, and you could see what wonderful shapes that ginseng root could take on. Look at this. I mean, it often takes the shape of a human being, and it's theorized because it takes on these shapes, this is what was attractive to our ancestors and drew their attention to it. If it looks like a person, maybe can help a person. Well, along those lines, I'll leave it to your imaginations of what these ginseng roots look like. You know, just a hint, has something to do with men. Finally, this one. It's a combination of a human body, plus it's anatomically correct for a man. So now, if you were a medicinal shaman 4,000 years ago, what would you use this for? Okay, back to science. Wow, over 25,000 human studies on ginseng and growing. There's something called Murapuama. This is a wood from a certain tree, and you can see that it's been used for both male and female applications historically, but there are, in fact, human studies done on this. And finally, this is the most important component of Magistral, Saw Palmetto. This is something that's well recognized by the medical community, and if you go over to Europe, for example, many doctors actually will write you a prescription for it. So look at the leaf, you'll see where the name comes from, Saw Palmetto. Now, here is where Immunotec Magistral differs from most of the other saw palmettos out there. This is what our marketing department calls a USP, the unique selling proposition. Listen carefully. Saw palmetto it's not just a leaf, it also can produce berries. And it's the berries that contain the highest amount of the active ingredients. We at Immunotec only use the berries, and it's in liquid form. So this is a major point of difference. So how do these active ingredients in the berries work? They are testosterone blockers. In simpler terms, it's the male hormones that cause the prostate to swell. And by blocking the male hormones, you reduce the swelling. And also, if you look up what the research demonstrates about the strategy regarding women, you're going to find some interesting aspects. So go to the research, and you'll see that this has been exquisitely investigated. So there you go, a really well-researched group of components. Remember, Magistral has been on the market for close to 20 years, and this has always been one of our most popular products with our clients. So back to you, Meredith.
Thanks, Dr. Gutman. I mean, this is great, you know, and all of you that are listening into this recording right now, you know, a lot of the products, they just get overlooked because, you know, we're so excited about the ones that are our personal favorites, and we of course look to our flagship products as a lot of companies do, and they're big movers and shakers. And yet, you know, there are so many people in our lives right now that we know that are really suffering. I mean, these are very dire, you know, symptoms and conditions that you're feeling as somebody that you care about, as a man in your life, and just saying, wow, if we can help them to feel better and you know, live better because of this product. I mean, we have a moral obligation to really understand and educate ourselves. So Dr. Gutman, I mean, an incredibly informative time tonight. So I want to thank you so much for joining us. I mean, we have a lot of questions about it, but I'd like to do that as well. But thank you.
Sure. This is really like you said, Meredith, this is an important product, and we have a tendency to overlook it because it's not as flashy as some. But wow, this is something that someone my age will really appreciate.
Exactly. Well, and we do have our questions, and this is great. And so for all of you, again, listening in on replay or live, make sure that you send in your questions, and you can send them to any of your regional, you know, sales managers and general managers. They can get them to us. You can send them right into, you know, customer service, and I think we have another box for that too. But regardless, get your questions in. Louise from Louisiana, she got her question in. She says, Dr. Gutman, I've heard that Saw Palmetto has also been marketed for breast enhancements. Okay, well, now this is certainly an interesting question. Is that true?
Yeah, well, answering Louise's question, there are a lot of companies that make that claim. If you look at the research, I can understand why they make that claim, but please understand at Immunotec, we decided not to enter into that argument. There are benefits that you need to get approved by the government, and we need to be very careful to stick to our listed benefits on the packaging.
I could not agree more, Dr. G, and especially for everyone listening. I mean, Immunotech is a way of life. It is our future, and and we need to protect that by making sure that we stick to the talking points that are listed on your sell sheets, that are listed online, because they have been through regulatory, they have been approved through restatement. Now, of course, people are going to have their own stories that they share amongst themselves, amongst friends, over a glass of wine, and that's another subject entirely. But we want to make sure that we stick to the point. There's no need to embellish or elaborate on the information that's given to you, because these products work. We have great things to talk about, including the research, and so stick to those. All right. So next question. Jerry wants to know if we can talk about male performance when promoting Magistral. Back to our current point.
There you go. I mean, Jerry's question is kind of like Louise's question. When we talk about male performance, and I think I don't need to explain what he's alluding to. Although there's certainly possible benefits, we have not acquired the rights to make such a statement. And even though it's very clear that prostate enlargement can result in erectile dysfunction, making claims about this it's hazardous. It's hazardous. So please, like Meredith says, let's protect our company and stick to the listed features and benefits.
And most importantly, I think just get people to try it if they think that they have any of the symptoms that we were talking about up there. Of course, in line with consulting their physician, but try the product and let the results speak for itself. All right. So now a question from Florida. Our final question. Harry says he's found improvement in his symptoms after using Magistral, and now he's asking that question: can he avoid going to the doctor?
Well, Harry, no one hates doctors more than I do. I hope you're all laughing out there. Let me change that. I am a doctor. What I hate is having to go to the doctor. It's time consuming. It's scary. In certain countries, it's expensive. But I remind you, this is really, really important for y'all to hear. There's an overlap of the symptoms between prostatic hypertrophy and prostate cancer. In other words, prostate cancer can give you the same symptoms as an enlarged prostate. So if you're having those symptoms, even if you got better on the Magistral, you still need to get it checked out, because you saw how frequently an enlarged prostate appears, 80% of 80-year-olds. So the chances of having both prostate cancer and prostatic hypertrophy, it's actually very, very common. So yeah, you got better on the Magistral. Sorry, you got to go see your doctor.
Absolutely. Great advice. And I would say I might hate going to the doctor, but if we all had a doctor as wonderful as you, Dr. G, I don't think any of us would hate going to the doctor. But we can't all come out to Canada. Besides that, you'd never be able to get your work done here at Immunotec. So we wouldn't want that to happen either. So
you're too kind.
Great information. And again, so timely as we, are here in February thinking about the men that we care for. And so just as a reminder, everyone, of course, as you heard, this is recorded, but, if you don't have time to listen or maybe, ask your friend to listen to, the replay of this, of course, in your office, all of our marketing department has made these amazing, what we call sell sheets, but really they're an information sheet that you can go ahead and print off, get some copies. And then when you're talking to a friend, you can just hand them the flyer, or especially if you want to gift them a bottle, that would be lovely too, to get them to try on. You've got a great sale going on this month as well. As always, we do our buy 3 bottles and get 20% off sale. because of the fact that you can have one for yourself, one to gift to someone, one to share, one to sample. But this is, again, a great item to sample because of the fact that it's an immediate situation that they have to be looking at. And I won't get too much into that, but about looking at it, I mean, never mind. But in any case, we want to make sure that we give them a chance to experience, again, the healing properties that we have within this product. So Dr. G, again, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate, as always, our time together.
My pleasure. I love doing these.
Great. Well, we love having you for sure. Next week, everyone, is extremely exciting because guess what? There's some very exciting news. Most of you heard for the month, some great specials, but also it's promotion time. So we're kicking off some very exceptional opportunities to earn potentially some travel for you and a friend. And so you want to come into Maximizing the Compensation Plan and Incentives Week 3, where you're going to get to review all the things that are on the table for you as incentives this spring. So you don't want to miss that. Again, this is on replay. We hope that you will join us. Download your sell sheets and consider love the greatest gift life has to offer. Thanks for joining us.